Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. Party and party. Yeah! Party
Yeah.
and party. Yeah! Oh God, Rebecca Black's this infamous song. And I say infamous with a capital infamous, you know.
In. Big in.
Oh man. Well, welcome everybody to the Bodacious Rant with your handsome nerdy studs, Burn and Rye. How are you, Burn?
Good, man. Real good. This is a good Friday.
It is a great
Rebecca
Friday.
Black song, aside.
Well, it's a great Friday because you got a new job, which I applaud you on. That's awesome, and it's also bittersweet just because WandaVision finally finished up this season. And correct me if I'm wrong. Was it a series finale or season finale?
Well, the episode is titled The Series Finale, so I'm assuming maybe this is just a one and done. I mean, I don't know. We can't really say for sure. We'll see how she's used in the movies going forward. I would like, another season, for them like this. It'd be pretty cool. I wouldn't mind, all the characters in the MCU getting like a show, just because, the shows do lend themselves to have a little more time to, live with the characters and have them go through like a longer journey. So if they would decide to do that, I would totally not mind. But as of right now, I think this is it.
And I'm fine with it, to be honest, just because like the way it ended, I don't see how we could
Hmm.
benefit from a season two without it feeling either drawn out or really forced. Um, before I start, how did you feel about this episode, Burn? Like, and what would you rate it out of five rantings?
I'll say overall, I did enjoy the episode. There were a couple things here and there that really kind of disappointed me to some like aspects and stuff, and we'll get into that. When we get into the more spoiler and proper review
Mm,
and stuff. So, if I
mm.
were to give it a rating right now, just to kind of give you an idea of where I'm at with the show or this episode in particular, it would be 3 out of 5 rantings.
I would actually, if this were any other episode of the season, I'd be a little shocked. But no, I will agree with you on that. I'm gonna give it at least 3.5 because, like you said, there were several things that disappointed me with it. Not saying it was a bad series finale,
No, not at all.
and it doesn't make the season terrible, like unwatchable.
Mm-mm.
Like it wasn't that bad.
No, it's not
But
Game
there
of Thrones.
but also, I mean, it's probably on my part. There was probably a little too much speculation going on, and I think
True.
myself and a lot of fans were let down by stuff. However, there were certain aspects of the show that kind of hinted at big things coming, and I just felt like we missed out on that, or we never got that for the series
Hmm.
finale. Like this felt like very not rushed, but basically tie up loose ends way too much in this. Like it definitely some things felt forced and some things just felt like completely out of thin air.
Yeah,
So
there were
I
certain like subplots that definitely did feel like they were rushed.
yeah, so I'm giving it a solid 3.5 just because again, it had some great moments in it. This was like the most MCU episode we could get with
Hmm.
this just because of the action, the effects, just the ending. Like it felt like we're finally watching the end of like the action-packed ending of a crazy Marvel movie. So
Yeah.
it was still great to watch, and there were some great moments in it, but there was also moments that just, like I said, they were very disappointing. And I don't, like I said, some of it was me, others I can say these are solid plot holes. But let's move on. Shall we get into the spoiler session, Burn?
Let's do it, man.
All right, everybody, you know the drill. This is the spoilers, so turn us off. Come on back when you watch it, and let's get the ball rolling. But let's do
Exactly.
this, Burn. Flourish.
Flourish.
Anyways,
Ooh.
oh man. So the beginning of this episode took place right after, really, literally right from the last episode
Yeah, literally seconds.
yeah, Agatha has the kids on the magical strings, and Scarlet Witch is gonna fight her. And again, the name drop last episode still gets me. Just you are the Scarlet Witch. It's like
Hmm.
finally she has her X-Men Marvel name. Like
She's got a
cool.
superhero name, code name.
Seriously, it's either villain name or superhero name. That's how I'm gonna look at it.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, like I said, so that was pretty cool how she obviously saves the kids from her, but Agatha's doing that like power draining thing. It actually, I was kind of thinking about it. It reminded me of. Did you ever see the Incredible Hulk with Eric Bana And that's
Yes.
what it's kind of reminding me
It
of a
was like
little
his
bit.
dad,
Like,
right?
yeah, his
Take it all.
what's the dad's name again?
Nick
What's
Nolte?
the Nick Nolte? Thank you, man. He was so thin back then, and then in like Warrior and every movie after that, he was a huskier dude. It's just kind of
Yeah, he's a
funny.
great actor. Crazy voice.
Oh, fantastic actor. I love his voice is badass. But I just kind of got that vibe from that where she's like, "Oh yes, I want your power." Like that's kind of my thing. And then another thing when Wanda has the black hand thing going on, I just kept thinking of Mr. Deeds and just the
Yeah.
black foot from frostbite. And it's like, dude, your foot should not be on there, but
I always
isn't
thought
that
of
sick?
the Jack Sparrow black mark.
Oh yeah, the black spot. Oh man, but I was just being I was just kind of laughing. I was like, I shouldn't be laughing, but this part was just funny because it's just like, here comes the black foot. No. Oh man, but I like how they duked it out, and then when she threw the car at her in the house too, like the last movie reference I'll probably for this episode was just the feet under the car and like in the house, and it was
Hmm.
just like Agatha's boots because she's like the Wicked Witch of the West. I thought that was pretty clever, like good imagery to
Yeah,
call back on
definitely
that.
cool little callback to the witch.
I just had my Captain Hope. I'm just Agatha. I thought you would have been crushed on that house in Munchkinland.
He's so petty, it's great.
Oh my God, he's such a bitch when he wants to his enemies at least. Like when he
Hmm.
wants to be, he'll just be so sassy. Like when him and Terry are trying to park Rose's motorcycle. It's just, oh, so my non-conforming of heterosexual lives affects you? You're trying to pull the gay card? Yas, queen.
Yeah.
Throws him the
Oh,
keys and snaps.
oh, when he has the balloons and he's just popping them because they don't want his big, what was it, like a
His
wreath or
balloon
something?
arch
Yeah.
made it. I birthed her. It's like, no, dude, like get over yourself.
Vindication.
Um, but yeah, so so again, all kidding aside, that was a pretty like cool scene how
Yeah.
Agatha is just literally trying to leech off her powers just because again, it's like she's scared of Wanda, but it's just out of jealousy. Like you have that power, I want to be able to do that, no problem.
Hmm.
And I like also like so Vision comes to save the day. The White Vision was pretty. I'm gonna say pretty creepy,
Yeah, it
very
was
off-putting.
very scary looking. I do like the design of him, how he's a little more like villainous looking, and especially his eyes, how they're all like
Oh,
darkened and blue. It's like, oh, it's off putting.
it was very off-putting, just creepy, just pure albino. Like just I was not feeling that. I was pretty terrified. And then he tried to crush her skull out like on the
Yeah.
spot. I was like, oh shit, this escalated quickly.
She's gonna get Oberyned. I was like, no, not
Oh,
again.
I'll never want to imagine that death. I remember I first saw that in Game of Thrones where
The sound of
Pedro
the head
Pascal's
pop.
character just dude, it was the eye. Just imagine your eyes getting like crushed in, and then your skull
Ugh,
splitting apart. Ugh. I don't want to
it
think
was
about it
bad.
because
It was all bad.
it gave me the heebie-jeebies. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen Game of Thrones, just look up the snake in the mountain, and that's all you need to do.
Mhm.
That's basically the show in the handbasket.
Sums up the
uh,
whole thing.
exactly. So as like Vision and the White Vision were fighting, like basically the corpse and the soul or spirit of Vision, just spirit and corpse were going at it.
Yeah.
Agatha and Wanda were going at it, and then we finally find out who Agnes's actual husband is. It was Ralph. Ralph,
Yeah.
infamous Ralph Boner, who was
Yeah.
Pietro.
The great Ralph Boner.
Oh my god! And then he just laughs at like Boner.
Both.
It's like that's your name, you idiots.
So did you like that reveal with Pietro, or that character that he's just Ralph Boner? I guess he's not like the real or the Marvel Fox version of Quicksilver.
So I know I've been talking about all season about how I want to see the multiverse kind of come into being, especially because, again, Evan Peters was Quicksilver in the Fox world. Now Fox is under Disney, and he came into it as Quicksilver as well, basically the same person. But and then there were other people speculating that he's Mephisto, which is like the devil of Marvel
Hmm.
and incarnate, or I thought it was gonna be the multiverse splitting and stuff because of this. So I thought we were gonna get the House of X or the House of M storyline where she's just going to turn everybody into mutants. So
Right.
it I think it worked. I don't mind it personally. That's not the
Yeah,
biggest
same.
letdown for me this episode. I thought it was kind of funny. That's like, oh, well, now we know who Ralph is. That you're just manipulating this dude to be your husband and to be Pietro, and it was funny. I like
Yeah.
Evan Peters is a good actor, so I didn't mind it too
Yeah,
much,
and,
to be
and that,
honest.
that was basically my theory, that it was just sort of like a nice, wink to the audience, like a little bit of a stunt cast type of thing, to be like, oh, he played Quicksilver in this other universe. We'll make him, the other, or like the fake Quicksilver in this one. I thought it was just kind of one of those things. I know people, like you said, were hoping it was a multiverse thing, but from the beginning, I was like, I don't think that's the case.
Well, they missed out on that, so I'm just gonna.
It is a missed opportunity, but Feige's got a plan, apparently.
Feige is the grand master of the Marvel world, so I'm sure he's got more up his sleeve. I just thought of the Grandmasters. You are now meeting him. Just Jeff, celebrate my champion. Um, and then this is where I started really picking at this episode, just because we go to outside the dome where Hayward's monitoring the Vision situation, like them fighting it,
Mhm.
and then Jimmy's comes in all handcuffed, and it's like, oh, like how did he get caught? There was nothing from the last episode to indicate he got caught.
Yeah, like last we saw was him just waiting outside the part of the hex where Monica ran through. He was there with those military people, and all of a sudden he's captured.
It made no sense. Yeah, that was a little thing out of the way, and then he gets out. I did like where he gets out of the handcuffs. Like that's a rule: never put your handcuffs behind your back. And he breaks out. He like just tricks out him with like a little like pick or something. Just flourish.
Yeah, flourish.
He stole the Vision's line there. I thought that was funny.
It's
And
a
then
nice
he
callback.
and then when he's like, "Hey Cliff, can you do me a favor? Can you get here in under an hour?" It's like, who the fuck is Cliff? I mean,
Who is this Cliff you speak of?
again, this one I will admit, this is just me really picking at it, just because the Jimmy Woo thing getting arrested probably a little too much, but this is more personal because I'm like, I'm probably reading into it too much as a Marvel fan. That's a usual problem we all have. Like if there's one
True.
thing that we know of or stands out, like we're gonna just overanalyze
Yeah,
it.
everyone right now is looking at the Marvel wiki, being like, "Who's named Cliff?"
Oh, I mean, I first said, I'm like, wait, Clint? And I'm like, no, never mind. He said Cliff. Like, that's not Hawkeye. But I just think that was a little whatever. I was like, why wouldn't you just say, hey, I need some backup? Like, send help here in under an hour. Because he was supposed to be calling the FBI. So
Mhm.
I'm like, is he just a random FBI agent? Is it going to be something? I wouldn't mind if they did like either a Jimmy and Darcy show, or ends up being Jimmy and Cliff. And they're just like the X-Files for Marvel. But um, so that, like I said, that's just me being picky. But when we go back to Wanda and Agnes fighting, or I keep calling her Agnes. I'm like, she's Agatha.
Yeah,
Agnes.
yeah, we've called her
It's
Agnes
a
for so
bad
long.
habit. But Agatha and her are fighting, and that's when she references the Darkhold, which has been a big thing like
Mhm.
throughout Marvel. Like I think it was in the Runaways, which is that Hulu show, which I
Right,
want to check
I
out.
haven't seen it yet, but I've heard good things.
And it was referenced as Agents of Shield. So I haven't looked too much into it, but I know that it was a big deal when it comes to like magic and like just dark evil stuff like coming from it.
Mhm. It's like the
Um,
Book of the Dead, right? Kind of like the Mummy.
yes, pretty much, the Yahweh, just bring back the devil.
It's a bird, a stork.
Oh yes, I see.
Ah, yes. I know that one.
So I thought that was pretty cool, and how the book supposedly talks of the Scarlet Witch not being like it's almost like a random act of God or the devil, however you want to look at it.
It's
How
like
they don't
pure
need,
magic
yeah,
manifested
they
or
don't need
something.
spells, they don't need practice. They are just gifted, like like not magicians, that's the wrong word, but like sorcerers or sorceresses, like those are just gifted witch.
Hmm.
And even rivals the even was stronger than the Sorcerer's Supreme. It's like, oh shit,
Yeah,
like
she's stronger than Doctor Strange. That's confirmed now.
yeah, we're gonna hark back to that at the end of our spoiler session on like why
Oh yeah,
it will lead
definitely.
to that. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like again, just like really hinting at Scarlet Witch's like power levels, and it because in the comics I never really knew who she was, never really care
Yeah,
for her that much. I just know her from the House of M storyline, and I mean, I know she changed the whole world, the reality of that, but I never, I guess, understood the gravity of that.
true.
But then in Marvel, like in the MCU, recently Brie Larson said, "Oh, Captain Marvel's the strongest Avenger, hands down." It's like, Brie, have you been watching WandaVision lately? Like,
Do
you
you know
not?
what she's doing?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm sorry, Captain Marvel's like a Super Saiyan, but Wanda, Scarlet Witch is God. She will literally just tear you apart. She was doing it to Thanos in Endgame, so um, I don't know. How just that's just me being petty. I was just like, sorry, Brie, but you're wrong, girl.
Maybe she means like, just raw strength, just like punching power.
I mean, anyone could punch through a building, you know. I could do it if I wanted to. Like, give me a week's worth of milk, and I'm gonna do that. Okay, let's relax now. Um, and then when Agatha waking up, this is another part that got me was when Agatha kind of woke everybody up from their trances, I guess, through
Hmm.
Wanda, and Dottie, aka Sarah, that was her name. She's like, "Oh, my name is Sarah. Like, can you let my daughter out of the room? Like, can I take her out? Like, can she hang in with your kids, be part of the story?
Yeah,
Like, I just want to see my daughter. I want
just
her to
want to
be
hold
okay."
her. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, "What lies? Like, what are you doing?" And it's
Yeah,
like,
why are you making her saying these things? It's like,
but
what?
it's like in the Halloween episode, only like 2 or 3 episodes ago, she like her and Pietro were talking, and they were saying, "Oh, like I like how you did with the kids. Like, I mean, they're fine, and now they're out running about. It's like you're okay with this? Yeah, I mean, you could be worse." It's like, so she acknowledged what she was doing with the kids, that they were kind of hidden away, but then for Halloween they were all running about. So it's like, how are you so surprised by what she was saying? Like, I just thought that was a little bit of an inconsistency in the plot.
Hmm.
Like, and then when all the people were just giving her grievances, like I don't want my husband coming back here. Please let him know. Please like stop. Can we just? Oh my God, I lost my train of thought. When people were, giving her grievances and stuff, she was kind of like overwhelmed, and I can understand that, but at the same time, like the Halloween episode, how she kind of acknowledged what she was doing to a certain degree.
Hmm.
I just felt like it was the writers and just trying almost like trying to make her a little more sympathetic this time when they didn't really need to do it. She could have just kind of been a little more like responsible. Like she could have acted responsibly for it and been like, "You're right. I'm sorry. Like I'll fix this and stuff." Before she kind of chokes him out a little bit by freaking out, and then she said she'll let him go. But you know what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah, where it did seem like either they were trying to either play too coy with the audience or they just couldn't decide themselves, having the mystery be, constantly throughout the season, is Wanda in control of it? Is she not in control of it? How much isn't she in control of it? It seems like maybe they were too caught up, one of those two ways to where at the end it was just kind of like, oh, it just came off like maybe just this just didn't they didn't think it through, or they were just like, oh, we're gonna do it this way, but they kind of backtracked or something. So it's kind of like, at the end of the day, you just kind of confused your audience, and I don't know if that was the right move in retrospect. I mean, it was fun to speculate while it was happening, but I feel like if they just kind of would have, like you said, just made it straightforward, like, yeah, she does know she's in control, and this is her kind of getting her reckoning at this point. That might have played off a little bit better in her overall character development, I think.
Yeah, like I said, that's where it got a little on the Game of Thrones side of things. Like that part felt a little too like they try to wrap it up for this and then totally change the narrative with her a little bit. So I just that kind of turned me off a little bit, but not a
Mm-hmm.
huge deal. That's just me being super picky with it. But
No, yeah, I could totally see that.
but I also did like how when she was trying to stop the dome, like she was going forth with her promise and stuff, that she but instead like you see like Billy and Tommy and Vision just kind of disintegrating with it,
Mm-hmm.
and Agatha's just poking fun at her like, well, you get rid of the hex, you get rid of your family, so you can't have it, they can't live together. So it was pretty, I thought that was actually a really cool effect too, how they were like pixelating with the dome a little bit, the hex.
Yeah, like they were like being taken apart piece by piece, like we saw with Vision when he exited the hex, and I think it was like episode 6 or 7.
Yeah, it was just, and I just thought it was a little weird too how she thought she was giving everybody peace and stuff like that in their minds. It's like, I don't know. Monica pretty much straight up told you like you were putting like stuff in my mouth, like you were like I
Mm-hmm.
felt your pain and everything. I don't know. It was just like she just didn't want to face that. So like I said, that just goes back to the whole not being as responsible for it as they should have. But and this is also a weird thing. Like I know Hayward, like he's been like he's I felt he was a more sympathetic villain this time around. Like everybody
Mhm.
like you could empathize for, even though like Wanda was a little more on the villainous side. Hayward was also a villain too, but he just kind of turned sort into like this like his own private army kind of, and I thought that was like what the hell is like even Nick Fury didn't do that with Shield, so I don't that was just a little weird to me. Did you really think about that when you watched it, or was that just me just over speculating it?
No, I mean that is one of the reasons I'll say that I knocked it down, a point in the review, because yeah, I'm like you, I thought that Hayward from the beginning was, if not like completely interesting, at least he was understandable. Like you understood his motivations, and he seemed pretty fleshed out as a character. Like there was sense there, but with this episode, it seemed like they were in a rush to maybe wrap that storyline up or something, where he just becomes a very one note villain at the end, where he's just all of a sudden like full on evil, doesn't care about anything, and then is even just willing to shoot kids, which seems like it was out of character for the version of Hayward that we kind of saw throughout the season.
Yeah, like there was no sign of him just willing to off anybody for it. Like I can understand he'd be like finding ways to weasel people out, like what he did with Monica, Wanda, no, Monica, Jimmy, and Darcy, where
Darcy.
she's like, "You guys are no longer needed here. Goodbye." But then like how Jimmy was arrested, and then he was willing to shoot Billy and Tommy on the spot. That was just like, okay, now he's just a typical villain who's willing to
Yeah.
just kill everybody to get his way. Made no sense. But I really did like how Monica, she put herself in front of the kids. Like we talked about in an episode or two ago, how she's just so selfless and really willing
Hmm.
to help people. I forgot what the proper word you use for it, but
Yeah, well, I was saying she just kind of has a disregard for her own safety. Like she's just willing to like throw, like literally what happened, like throw herself in front of bullets, for
yeah.
to save someone. She's like, I'm gonna die, and it's fine.
Exactly. And then her eyes change to different colors. So we've seen like blue, we've seen purple, and then we see yellow now. And the bullets like phase through her, like almost like she was water. I thought that was a really cool idea. And then Billy catches a bullet. My son caught a bullet
Cut a bullet.
with his bare hands. Oh, Jackie Chan from Rush Hour, I love it. But I thought, and I like the little exchange together, like, nice trick, kid. And he's like, oh, I like yours too. Like, I
Hmm.
just thought it was a little like a good little moment to lighten up everything, the
Yeah,
intensity of it.
it's a little super powered, wholesome moment.
And then I think this is also again, I'm just still picking up, but Hayward trying to drive off. It was very sitcom like as well, so I don't know if that's what they kind of like subtly tried to do. It's like, oh, we're just playing this off like a typical sitcom like action show where the villain's gonna try and kill someone, fails, leaves. It felt so just lame, just very very disappointing. But and then
Hmm.
Darcy, I mean, I know I'm gonna fast forward a little bit, but then she just shows up to crash into him, say, "Oh, like have fun in jail." We never see her again after that. Like, what was the point of having her be like one of the best parts of this show, and then the very last episode, the series finale, just have her disappear? Like that felt very lackluster to me.
Yeah, just because she was such a big part of the outside of the Hex storyline. Her, Jimmy, and Monica, they were all that was the B plot of the whole thing, and she was one of the main characters of that. So just to kind of only get her, and really only like a few seconds to end the whole thing, it was kind of sad because then I really grew to like Darcy a lot, and I just feel like they should have given her a little more at the end to have at least the three of those people have closure with each other.
Yeah, because again, like her, Jimmy, and Monica, they were like the dynamic trio throughout this
Hmm.
whole
The
thing,
three
or at least
amigos.
through at least like a good majority of this show. So yeah, like I just thought that was another lame part, but um, the whole Vision kind of duking it out with his self, like it was like that perfect situation of like you when you're talking to yourself and you're kind of thinking things through. He's literally thinking it with himself, like
Hmm.
looking in a mirror, kind of, and that whole analysis with the ship. I forget the Theseus or
Yeah,
A
the ship of Theseus.
the ship of Theseus. Okay, and how there's a ship, but you have to replace each piece over time, and then at that point, does it still become the original ship? Is it a copy essentially? But they were both kind of reaching that conclusion, like regardless of what we are, like you're essentially fixed up with new organic components. I'm just like a
A
almost
completely new
a
thing. Yeah.
yeah, like I'm like a thought of what Vision was. Like I have some power. I have your powers, but I'm a spiritual kind of thing. Like I like how he did the truth touch to him, this this is another thing that kind of got me down. Not trying to like I'm not trying to be too much of a bummer with this episode because I still liked it, but this is a
Oh, yeah.
thing I was like over speculating, and I was a little I liked it, but I didn't. Where I was hoping that because it's like vision, like a projection of vision, and then the spiritual, the body, physical vision, they were going to combine together and be a thing again for Wanda, like to be there for her.
Yeah, that was my theory, at least, what we were talking about last episode, where that would be the way for him to get out of the hex, but it clearly wasn't.
No, it was not. He just did the wait, woke him up, kind of like what he did with Ultron, where it's like instead of stopping him from the internet, he woke him up and basically re-downloaded his data, and then he's like, "I am Vision," flies away. It's like, what the
Where are you
fuck
going,
did
bud?
he go? Vision, get your ass back
Get back
here!
here. Your wife needs you.
But I mean, again, I kind of understand why. For we're gonna talk about why in a minute, but I thought that was a little dumb, and then Agatha and Wanda duking it out with like she tries to do the whole mind control thing like from Age of Ultron
Yeah,
again,
that was awesome.
flips it on her, and when Wanda's kind of just giving her the power, very much like the Hulk movie with Eric Bana, where Nick
Oh,
Nolte
yeah.
is taking his power and stuff because he's supposed to be that I forgot what character's name
I
it's a
remember.
supervillain name, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about, the movie.
Yeah, take it all.
That's essentially what they were doing with this, and I thought it was really clever how she made the runes from, Agatha's
Yeah.
chamber slash basement, I guess.
Yeah, where
That
she
was
was like, throwing him and hitting her and then like throwing and missing and we're like, oh, she's missing. But no, she was actually doing a whole thing very, very sneaky. That was kind of cool.
it is cool. I know I know that could be a part where I'm like, how did she remember them? But it's also like, well, who cares?
She,
She
yeah,
was
she
she
just
was in
she
the
just picks up
basement.
magic fast. We'll just chalk it up to that.
Yeah, I mean, again, we saw her just kind of like disappear like Agatha did earlier out of nowhere. Like she is supposed to be like a naturally just gifted witch, like a craft user. She doesn't really. It's almost like Doctor Strange when he was learning everything because he has a photographic memory and
Hmm.
stuff. So he was able to just go through magic really quick. This is basically her, and she's supposed to be stronger than he is. So that's one
Yeah,
thing to tell you.
it makes sense.
I just love the full blown Scarlet Witch uniform, just with the headdress, crown, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
Her
so cool.
It was super cool.
Her
Like
best look. It was amazing.
absolutely, like it. What I loved about it, like it wasn't super sexualized because I know that's been like a thing with a lot of female heroes
Yeah,
in movies, and
oh,
even in
definitely.
Civil War, she kind of. I remember I saw something that she kind of talked about it, where it was like
It's kind of like a corset, and I was like,
yeah, she's like, why do I get a corset, but dudes can do this? Like, where's my, I think it was something like she felt a little exposed a little bit. And it's like,
yeah, everyone else has got like a cool super suit, and she just kind of.
she just had a corset with a coat. Yeah, it was a little like, I mean, again, she wasn't the Scarlet Witch yet. So that's could be one thing justifying it. But
Yeah,
again, her look, like, again, not like she looked sexy, she looked awesome. And again, she looked pretty, her like the little details in like especially her headdress, how it's like weaving together looks very demonic, but
yeah,
at the
almost
same
like devil
time,
horns.
she can still be a hero. Like the way this episode ended is like she could be very anti-heroic, where she can do good things for people, but she could also do bad things for good reasons, kind of thing.
Or like unintentionally. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So again, I was just digging the whole look, the sleeves, the cloak thing in the back. It
yeah.
was such a godlike when I was like,
So
oh, Scarlet Witch is real. She's
that,
alive.
that's a Hot Toys pre-order right there.
Absolutely. Oh my God, I spent so much money on Hot Toys. It's a problem. I do feel the Tiger King meme just I'll never be able to financially recover from this.
Just oh no.
Oh man, but And then the whole ending too is pretty fitting for Agatha. It was a little fucked up, to be honest, just
Hmm.
because it's like, Westview is supposed to be her home, and she tried to make it a great place, and instead it was just a hell of her own making, unintentionally, just for the people, not necessarily for her. So
Hmm.
she's like, instead, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm not gonna do anything. You're just gonna stay here. You're gonna be the character you chose to be,
Yep.
the nosy neighbor. And she's like, no, please don't. Like, you can't do this. Like, don't worry. If I need you, I'll find you.
Yeah, such a boss line. Yeah, yeah. If I
Yeah.
need you, I know where to find you.
Basically hints that like she could be living her like a normal life here, and then all of a sudden Wanda's gonna appear and like, yeah, you're gonna do something for me, like pay
Hmm.
up kind of thing. Um,
Yeah, I do like that they're doing that with Agatha
yeah,
because Catherine Hahn's such a great actress and she did play the role really well. And it would really be a shame for her to not have more, or at least the potential for more within the MCU, just because she was a really good villain. And I'm glad that Marvel's not killing them off after like their first appearance now.
yeah, that was a huge problem for a lot of them. I mean, I guess the way it worked out, some villains deserve the one off, but at the same time, it
Yeah,
just was like it was just such a bummer. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, and I can't think of anybody else at the time. But that's not either here nor there. But when she turned Agatha back into Agnes, the character,
hmm,
yeah, like Catherine Hahn did a really good job of like playing off like, oh yeah, like I'm back to Agnes, but her eyes were saying a different story, kind of
hmm.
like a Claire in Modern Family. It's like mouth funny, eyes not funny. when Phil's talking about his jokes, it's like, oh man, that's messed up.
Or just like I just said that. Like, uh,
Just like you're trying to hide something. So like I said, I just thought that was just like, ooh, that's pretty dark. Like it
mhm,
could be worse. I mean, yeah, she could have easily offed her or maybe sent her to hell or trapped
yeah.
her in some like she could have done the Dormammu thing for all we know. We're just kept in the constant
Just
loop.
time
So
looped her. Yeah, but now she's just like in a prison of her own mind. It's kind of like the worst of all possibilities.
exactly, but uh, but the ending was this is one of the best parts too when her and the family decide to go home.
Hmm.
And it's like her and Vision just kind of accepted like this has got to stop. So let's just go home. Let's be done with it. And when they're putting the kids to bed, and they're just having that tender moment like, boys, we're proud of you. Like they didn't want to explain everything. They just said, we're happy. We'll see you guys later. Like good night. And that little look back where she's like, thank you guys for choosing me to be your mom. It was like,
Yeah,
damn it, we can't choose you, Bob.
I
You're
know.
our mom.
This is like the first occasion of this episode where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling something right now.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, I mean, I know there have been some emotional moments in this show, but
Mhm.
nothing like close to that. I mean, that's no Logan or Endgame emotion, but
It's
it's still,
almost.
it's getting there. And then when her and Vision are just kind of watching the hex close in on them and everything going back to normal, that last question really hit home. We're just like,
Hmm.
what am I to you? Like, what am I? Just asking that, like, and she could have just said, "You're my husband. I love you." She could have simply said that. But when she said, like, "You're my hope. You're my fear. You're my frustration. You're my," just basically all her chaos, and then she just finished it with just, "You're my love." And that's all I need you to be. Like,
Hmm.
it was like, damn. I'm sure a lot of people like that's probably what a lot of people think, but never could put into words quite like she did. Like it was so simple, but such a powerful quote, and I really like that. Just
Yeah, just such a fantastic like heartfelt moment that I feel was just made better because we've had this much time with these two characters, having built up episode over episode, and we really know what their relationship is like, and these payoff moments to that is just a tribute to the good writing over the course of these episodes, and then just also just the episode count, having more time with characters. It gives you these moments that you wouldn't really get in something else, and I thought it was beautiful. This, and then when Vision says, right after.
yeah, where he just says like I forgot exactly what he said, but it was pretty much like I'll see you soon, like or I'll always be there. Because she
Yeah.
did say like you're a piece of the Mind Stone that never left. Like you're
Mhm.
always a part of me, and I think she just needed to like really say it to believe it. Like you're always gonna be there and it was like a sense of closure, like she can move on now.
Yeah, she's reached that stage of grief where there's acceptance and she can move forward now.
Yeah, and then the hex closes up. She is like back in her clothes from before she created it and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
Hmm.
And when she kind of has her walk through town again, all the citizens are just staring at her like with
He's
like
mad dogging.
contempt. Yeah, mad dogging her, and like, but out of fear and just like frustration, like you kept us prisoner for this whole week, and Monica was completely like she didn't rip her a new one. She didn't fear her. She just said, "You had the power to bring him back. Like I would have done that for my mom. Like it's okay. Like
Yeah,
I mean,
I understand.
like they may not, but at the same time, like I know you didn't mean this to happen or to for it to be like this. You wanted to try and make things better, just like in Civil War, where how she tried to stop Crossbones from like killing himself, but instead, when she tried
Yeah,
to
the
shift
some
it somewhere
Wakandan
else,
side. Yeah,
yeah. So it wasn't anything like she meant for it to happen, and it was just that whole line of like I can't control everybody else's fear, only my own. That was her way of saying like I just got to keep moving forward. Can't let anybody dictate my life. And, I mean, that's not the best way of looking at it when you just held a town hostage and they hate you for it. But, it is what it is. Um, but I like when she's like, oh, I got to go figure out myself. Like, thank you. And when she flies away, I love how she changed her clothes into her Scarlet Witch suit and put the hood over. I thought, oh, that's super cool. Um,
yeah,
that
yeah.
was one of
The hood is a nice little touch.
Yeah, absolutely. You're lagging a little, but don't worry about it, my man. I'm gonna keep this going for you. Um, but I really like that and how she's like, good luck, like Wanda. I hope, basically saying, I hope you find like who you truly are. Like that's what she was gonna do, like a soul search a little bit. Um, and then it ends right there, which I guess is fine. But then there were two credit scenes this time. That's what everybody's
Yeah,
been talking
luckily.
about. So the mid-credit scene was just like the cleanup. Jimmy's coordinated like a boss, and I like how she's like, "Oh, I like this on you, like authority," and he's like, "Yeah, well," kind of like gushing out, like, "Thanks."
Hmm. Like I'm the man. I'm the man right now.
um, so I thought that was pretty funny. And then when this one agent's like, "Oh, they need you in the theater," that like, and then the lady turns out to be a scroll. Is like, "Oh, I'm a friend of your mom's. You're needed up there. Like, you got to go up there, kind of like you got to go back." And she's like, "What?" Like, I mean, it's like, well, about the space. I mean, I guess it's just a matter of like, oh shit, I just got promoted, kind of thing. Like, I'm moving on up.
Yeah,
So
like I'm gonna go with Nick Fury real quick and handle some space business.
yeah, I thought that was a cool little thing, but nothing in comparison to the end credit scene where
Hmm.
it zooms out, and I want to say it would make sense because she's in like a mountainous forest and stuff. I think it was supposed to be Sokovia,
I
like the
think so.
outskirts of it, like because the city of Sokovia, yeah, that got destroyed and stuff, but
It's probably
there's
like the
still
mountain
bits.
ranges or something.
Yeah, or it's just somewhere in Europe, just somewhere isolated. Because like when we zoom in on the cabin that she's at, that there's like some like kind of like either almost like Viking like runes or something on the windows. I don't know. It's just like it's a decorative thing, but
Yeah,
um,
but something to signify it's like it's not in America.
exactly, yeah. And that was the crazy shit. So we see her just like get up off the steps, gonna get some tea, chilling. But when
Hmm.
we go in the back of the cabin, Scarlet Witch is just going through the dark home, just reading and absorbing. It was like, what the fuck?
Her
Like,
astral projection.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I was gonna say like she's either astral projecting or something, but for her body to be physically moving and kind of like
Hmm.
keeping itself going, or maybe she's still keeping herself going, but her mind is elsewhere. I thought that was super cool because
Yeah,
every
because
time the Sorcerer Supreme stuff have done like the whole astral projection thing, the bodies are just like,
yeah, he's like,
yeah, the bodies are just limp. So it's like, dude, that's kind of scary. She's already past that, and then we hear her kids in the back like, "Mom, help! Like, look for us," kind of thing.
yeah, I wonder what
So,
that's all about.
well, actually, now that I just thought about it, that could signify that because the whole thing with Wanda and Billy is or Tommy and Billy is when Wanda kills the three of them in the comics, their souls get reincarnated into two other kids, and they find out that they're the sons of Scarlet Witch and Vision.
Oh, okay.
So that's how they become physical heroes and stuff like that, instead of just being created by magic. Um,
Oh, gotcha.
so I wonder if she's going to be like searching for them or using the Darkhold to try and recreate them without creating a hex. Like, and that could lead into Doctor Strange, where she's just messing with reality to a point where it's breaking the bounds of reality. Like, if that makes sense, like just tearing the holes through the multiverse or something to create them. And that could be how she's a bad, like a villain in Doctor Strange too. But the one concern I have, this is just completely me. I don't know what you'll think of it, but I
Mhm.
just hope that they're writing her and like other characters going forward, like Falcon Winter Soldier as well, and then Loki. If they do appear in future projects, I hope they're consistent with what they've come. Because I would hate to see Wanda become like such a complex character and then just completely thrown into Doctor Strange as just a straight up villain with like almost no explanation or like she's just doing stuff that would make no sense for the character.
Yeah, I think with Feige at the helm, we don't have to worry about that because we've seen with all the characters in the 22 movies that we've gotten so far that they do go through changes and they keep acting the way they do after they've gone through those character arcs. So I think that's something we don't have to worry about too much, especially since he's the man, the Kevin Feige's.
He is the Grand Master of Marvel, not Jeff Goldblum Grand Master, but he's like celebrate my movies. But yeah, like I said, so I did love those few moments that we talked about. Overall, it doesn't, this ending, the lackluster element of this episode does not reflect on the show for me. I would still gladly
No.
rewatch this all the way through and still enjoy it. It definitely, like, I know I'm comparing it to Game of Thrones and how it ended, but that was across like 7 seasons and then it led to suck. One bad season of suck. So
And it
for
ruined
this,
everything.
yeah, it really did. Like, I never kind of want to touch Game of Thrones again because of that last season. Like, just
Hmm.
knowing what happens, and I have to go through a whole season of it. It's not just one episode; it's a whole season. Where at least this one, it's like I can enjoy this season and just know what happens. And it's like, okay, that's fine. I don't care. Like, it's over with now. And and for it being the first Marvel project we've gotten since last year, is I well, yeah, last year technically the 2019, just because Spider-Man came out and stuff, but
Yeah.
uh, that this was a great way to start it off, and I can't wait to see how the movies are gonna keep this going along with the shows. We have Falcon and Winter Soldier coming out next week, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely like at least it sets the stage for phase 4 really well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like again, it's just upping the ante for everybody. Like Scarlet Witch is now a Scarlet Witch. Like she's at her godlike status, and we're gonna probably see more of it in Doctor Strange. So we're gonna see the advancement of all these characters. I can't wait. But that'll do it for me. Anything else you want to add to this burn? What you're feeling?
No, I mean just that it was nice. It was a nice journey. It was a very weird journey. I hope Marvel continues this direction, of like taking risks with storytelling and yeah, it was a nice gift from Marvel Studios. WandaVision was.
Absolutely, my friend. But that'll do it for me. Everybody, if you haven't watched it, please check it out. Let us know what you thought about it. Please again, if you want to avoid spoilers, don't watch this. Check it out and come back. Leah, let
Mhm.
us know what you thought of the comments and about the show, and if we changed your mind, like got you to watch it. We'd love to know if we converted you into being WandaVisions,
I know
WandaVisualists.
we need our money, Disney Plus, for getting you subscribers.
Oh my God, imagine if we got sponsored by Disney Plus. Like, oh shit, that'd be dope. It's free Disney for life.
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing.
That'd be star power beyond anything. I'd be like, dude, I'm Tom Cruise now. Like, thank you. I know what it feels like. All right, man. But I'll talk to you later, Burn.
I'll talk to you later, man. We'll see you on the next one for some Winter Soldier and Falcon action.
Absolutely.
Adios, brother.
Deuces.